Okay, so we are planning to do the halachos about Shavuos in the Beis Mikdash. So primarily the Shtei Alechem, but we'll see what else the perek deals with. So this is in Sefer Avoda, Hilchos Temidin and Musafin, chapter 8, halacha aleph. And the way to remember, again, I'll keep repeating this until everyone remembers it forever, is that you don't know whether something is in Sefer Avoda or Sefer Korbanos. Remember that Avoda is about the Beis Mikdash and communal Korbanos, and Sefer Korbanos is about individual ones. And if you don't know what kind of korban you're talking about, then you're in trouble. But but the Omer there's only one Shtei Alechem. So I mean, there's two Shtei Alechem. There's only one korban of Shtei Alechem, so it's a korban tzibur. Okay, so we're on halacha aleph, and we'll just see how far we get because we only have one day before of doing this before Shavuos. B'yom chamishim misfiras Omer, on the 50th day of counting Omer, which again very telling because we tend to forget. Well, we don't tend to forget. In practice, it's not real to us that Shavuos could fall out on a number of days. Because for us, Shavuos is always on the 6th of Sivan because we have a fixed calendar. But Shavuos could fall out on is it the 4th, 5th, and 6th, or is it the 5th, 6th, and 7th?
I think exactly.
5th, 6th, and 7th. I think that makes sense. Yeah, right. Okay, so
I never understand why.
I think because depending on when the witnesses report the new moon for Rosh Chodesh Iyar and for Rosh Chodesh Sivan, there could be a difference of like 1 to 2 days for those. Yeah. So that's why he's saying that on the day of the 50th day of the counting of the Omer, Hu Chag Shavuos is the festival of weeks. Hu Yom Atzeres, and it is the day of Atzeres. Okay, again, anyone know why they call it Atzeres? Why the Torah calls it Atzeres?
Is Atzeres a term uses for all the holidays?
Well, it uses it for the Shvi'i Shel Pesach, and it uses it for Shmini Atzeres. I don't think the first day is Atzeres means stopping, but it also means something else. Let me just look it up. Hold on. Atzeres. Yeah.
What's the part?
I haven't gotten it yet. I haven't found one yet. Let's see. Let's look at the one. Yeah.
I never actually knew that word meant.
Oh, so hold on just 1 second here. So is Shavuos called Atzeres in the Torah? Maybe not. No, it looks like Shavuos is not called. Yeah, right. Shmini Atzeres. Yeah, and then the Shvi'i Shel Pesach is also called that. So I guess the Chazal call it Atzeres. Why am I not able to click on this? This is not being clickable. Let's try refreshing.
The day after Shavuos?
No.
That's one.
Let's try this again. This is not even scrolling now. Oop, that time it did. Okay. All right. Clicked on that. Success. Click here. Success. Didn't show up. Refresh. Atzeres. Nope. And there we go. Assembly. That's how they translate it. Okay. It also means to stop though. Yeah. So the psukim say about Shmini Atzeres. So let's see. The first one is, it looks like it appears 4 times in the Torah. First one is Vayikra 23:36. Shivas Yamim Takrivu Ishel Hashem Bayom Hashmini Mikra Kodesh Yelachem. On the 8th day is Mikra Kodesh. V'hikrafim Ishel Hashem Atzeres He. It is on Atzeres. Kum Lachalos Asu. Yom Hashmini Atzeres Yelachem. Kum Lachalos Asu. That's also on the Shmini Atzeres. And then this is on the Shvi'i Shel Pesach. Sheshes Yom Tocha Matzos V'yom Hashvi Atzeres L'Hashem. Someone translates it as something else. I know that was a vague statement, but no, one of the Targumim I think translates it in a different way. Not Onkelos. Actually, I don't know how Onkelos translates it. Onkelos translates it as Kinishin Tahon. Oh, there you go. He translates it as assembly. Look at that. And then, but Targum Yushalmi maybe treats it as, Knisas Chedva, an assembly of joy, rejoicing. So I think some translate it as rejoicing. I have no idea. I thought it meant stop. This is news to me. Okay, anyway. So, but I guess Chazal are the ones who call it Yom Atzeres. So this is a question that we're not going to answer, right? Probably here. Why do Chazal call Shavuos Atzeres if the Torah doesn't call it Atzeres. So yeah, okay. Uviyom zeh, on this day, makrivim musaf kamo musaf Rosh Chodesh. So on this day we offer a korban musaf like on the musaf of Rosh Chodesh. Now this is very interesting because so he says shnei parim va'ayil v'shiva kvasim. So 2 bulls, 1 ram, 7 sheep. Kulan olos, all of them are brought as an ola, which is you burn the entire thing on the mizbeach. Usiir chatas, and 1 goat as a chatas offering. Of eluhena kobrans hamuras pekumash pekudim. This is what's stated in Parshas Pinchas v'hin musaf hayom, and that's the musaf of the day. Yeah. Yeah.
If you mean like a like time that
That's interesting. Okay.
Right. Is that because of Harsina?
Yeah. That's a reasonable answer. Right. Emphasizing the assembly. All right. I like that. All right. That's good. I'll see if I can find anyone who says what you say.
That makes sense. I guess the more basic question I have is just like, even if that does make sense, why not just still call it Shavuot? It's like what it's already called. Right.
Meaning what? Well, so I mean, Chaim is saying that because this is the premise of what you're saying. It never ever says in the Torah that Shavuos is about Matan Torah. So it would make sense that the Torah Sheba'al Peh would step in and like give like that commentary by giving it another name. Yeah. Another observation here, which I probably mentioned this when we did the beginning of when we did perek Shvi'i, that the musaf for Rosh Chodesh, Pesach, and Shavuos are all the same. Okay, all of them are 2 parim, 1 ayal, and 7 kavasim, and a sir chatas. And the reason why is because all of them are associated with Yetzias Mitzrayim. Right, Rosh Chodesh is even though we do it every Rosh Chodesh is a reference to Chodesh Nisan, which is the Chodesh of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Pesach is when we left Mitzrayim, and then Shavuos is Matan Torah, which was the culmination of Yetzias Mitzrayim. So
every Rosh Chodesh is actually a reference to Rosh Chodesh Nisan.
Yeah, because we count the months by because the first month of the calendar is Rosh Chodesh Nisan, or is Nisan. So yeah, so all of them are in reference, just like we count all the days of the week in reference to Shabbos.
But when you say in reference, meaning like it's like you're just really commemorating Rosh Chodesh Nisan.
Yeah, because so the names that we have for the months were only given in Bavel.
Right.
But in the Torah, it's Chodesh Rishon, Chodesh Sheni, Chodesh Shlishi, and it's like Shlishi from Nisan.
So there isn't some other intrinsic like thing to like a Rosh Chodesh in and of itself, except for the fact that it's.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, there are definitely ideas about Rosh Chodesh itself, but all the Rosh Chodeshim are like hearkening back to the first month, which was associated with Yetzias Mitzrayim.
Okay.
Yeah.
One basic question. What? So this is really basic, but
this is why I like when you're in Rambam Bekius, because you ask all the like you ask a lot of questions that bring out like good points and basic points. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mean that as a diss for all of you, but you ask different questions than everyone else does. Yeah. So. Yeah.
So just as a recap, since the Torah doesn't say that Shavuos is from Torah,
right?
What is the basic reason that it gives?
It doesn't. Yeah. I give a shiur on. I posted it last night. Yeah, I posted it last night. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a big mystery about why the Torah doesn't. Well, sorry. What the Torah says is it says it's a harvest festival.
Right.
But it's a big mystery about why the Torah doesn't say anything about Matan Torah, if that's the time,
Isn't the bigger mystery why Chazal attributed it to Matan Torah?
You could say that. I'm confident. It makes like the Rabag's argument makes most sense to me about like we have every reason to believe that that's when Matan Torah happened because we know it happened around that time and stuff like that. So the question is more like why didn't the Torah say it? Okay. Yeah, especially given it's so important. Yes, do you have a question? No. Okay. V'od Navin Yeser al Hamusaf Bayom Hazeh Mincha Chadasha Shtei Lachem. Okay. Also, in addition to this musaf, we bring a new mincha. Okay, mincha is a flour offering, FLOUR, called the Shtei Halechem, the 2 loaves. Krivin im halechem, and we bring with that bread par u'shnei elim v'shiva kavasim, 1 bull, 2 rams, and 7 sheep. Hakol olos, everything is an ola. So it's in a way, it's I don't want to call it the reverse, but it is swapped with the normal musaf because normal musaf is 2 parim, and with the shtei lachem you bring 1, and then the normal musaf is 1 ayal, and shtei lachem you bring 2. Okay, I don't know what the significance of that is. Oh, in case anyone wants, actually I have to check and make sure that that's okay. I don't know if any of you know Jonah Mishan. Do you know Jonah?
I hear me, they call often.
Yeah, he was in yeshiva when I was in yeshiva. Sent me a couple of voice notes on all of the observations he had about the philosophical implications you could draw from the korbanos of Shavuos, which I had initially intended to develop on my own, but I didn't. So, but if you want stuff to think about there, then he has it.
Did you say the korbanot were the same as those other things?
Oh, sorry. What I meant was for the shtei lechem. Yeah, the musaf is the same, and then the shtei lechem though is different. Yeah.
Is that the only different thing?
That is the only different thing, I believe. Yeah. And he even says here, this is one of the points that Jonah made. Nimsa hakaref biyom zeh yaser al shnei hatamidim. So it turns out that what's brought on this day, in addition to the 2 Temidin, is shlosha parim ushlosha elim v'arba kavasim. So 3 bulls, 3 rams, 14 sheep, hakol esrim behema olos. In entirety, 20 animals. Ushne sirim chataos ne'achalim, 2 chatas of goats that are eaten by the kohanim. Ushne kavasim shlamim ne'achalim, and then 2 full lambs that are eaten. And one of the points that Jonah made was, why does the Rambam need to summarize this? Like we can count for ourselves, So he brought out some idea about why there's what emerges from here is a thing. I listened to this, he sent me this at the very beginning of the Omer, so I don't really remember at the point. Okay, so now we talk about the shtei lechem. Okay, shtei lechem inan ba'im elamin haaretz. If we have extra time, I'll play it without his permission. It's Torah, we can share. All right. Shtei lechem inan ba'in elamin haaretz u'min hachadash. Okay, so the shtei lechem, the 2 loaves, are only brought from the land of Israel and only from chadash, from new grain. Shnemar mimoshvo sechem taviu lechem tenufa. From your dwellings you shall bring the bread of waving. Lo matzu chadash yaviu min ha'aliyah. If you can't find new grain, you can bring it from the storage. I gotta reiterate this point also. So, even though I talked about this in my Sunday shir on counting the Omer. So, and we went over this in Rambam Bekius, that so chadash is new grain that sprouted that year, and yashan is the grain from the year before. So the day after Pesach is when we begin the barley harvest and we bring the Omer, okay? And the bringing of the Omer is matir chadash for individuals to eat, okay? But you can't use chadash in the Mikdash until the shtei lechem. The shtei lechem is the first, it's called the mincha chadasha because it's the first mincha that you bring of new grain in the Mikdash.
But what do you mean for individuals to eat?
Meaning you at home, when you're making your bread, you can't use new grain until the Omer is brought in the Mikdash, and once it's brought in the Mikdash, then you can eat new grain at home.
Is there anything I can't do with it?
You can't eat it. That's the only thing, right? There's no Isser Hana on.
No,
right?
Sell it and whatever.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't think there's. Yeah, just for eating. Yeah, and nowadays when we don't have the Omer, then you have to wait until after the day passes. But in the time of the Mikdash was when they actually brought it.
Wait, how do you define when's the cutoff point?
The cutoff point for what is considered grain of that year, you mean?
Yeah.
It has to do with when it took root, and I don't really remember the detailed halachos of that. But
didn't I just harvest it? This isn't a long waiting period.
Oh no, so that's the other thing also, is you're not allowed to harvest most new grain until the Omer is harvested. Okay. And then once the Omer is offered, then you can eat the new grain.
So this is not a long period then, though,
what basically is happening is the only grain that's that's growing at the time is barley, right? Because wheat doesn't grow until later. So barley starts to ripen at the time of Nisan, because Chodesh HaAviv, Aviv literally means the ripening, so the month of the ripening. So let's say your non-Jewish neighbors at around Rosh Chodesh Nisan would probably already be harvesting their barley and making their barley snacks or cakes or whatever, and you would have to wait until after the Omer is brought. So it's not a long time, but it is, you would sense the waiting.
What are you eating on Pesach?
On Pesach, you're going to be making the matzah all out of yashan because there's not enough time. First of all, most matzah is going to be made out of wheat. even though you can make it out of the other grains. But yeah, even if you wanted to make it out of barley, you wouldn't be able to harvest it and make it before Pesach.
So I need to store extra grain.
Yeah, and that's how grain mostly is.
For winter.
Grain is harvested and then stored for the entire.
No, I know, but I'm saying
Yeah.
I need to have like a special extra store for Pesach. But I'm probably gonna need a
Like
little.
I mean, it depends on how
That's an extra week.
Yeah, it depends on how much grain you had, you know. Yeah, like if your grain harvest was low that week, then you have to save it up for Pesach. You know,
Okay, got it.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say one more thing also, which is yeah, okay, I guess I forgot. But yeah. So in Mikdash though, you only are allowed to bring chadash after the shtei lechem. So this is another question which I meant to look into and didn't get a chance to look into, but Jessie Fishbein gave a shiur on this at the White Shul. So she has an answer, which is her question was, first of all, why do you need two different matir things for chadash? Like, why did the Torah just say one thing is matir all of chadash? And then if you are having two, one for personal use and the other for mikdash, why is the personal one way before the mikdash one? Like, I don't know why. I would think for somehow that like mikdash like somehow gets to be first, because I guess that's the pattern with stuff in general, right? With bikurim and everything like that, you bring it to mikdash first, and then you do personal stuff. Here, you get personal stuff, and then 50 days later. 49 days later, then you matir it in Mikdash. So it's just weird. Why do you need two matirs? Yeah. So she had an answer, but I don't feel comfortable giving it over because I don't remember the details. Okay. Chitim sheyardu be'avim yesh behem safek im kore ani behem mimosh vosechem. That does not mean wheat that fell from clouds, right? Avim. Nira. Yeah, right. Nira, I got to mention the man fact. You know, this is a epic thing. You know what bracha you make on man? The Akronim talk about it. I mean, obviously.
Probably.
So that would be a good guess, right?
Yeah.
Wait, what did you say big eight?
Because hamoti lechem min hashamayim, or hamori lechem min hashamayim. Yeah. Yeah, isn't it awesome?
Wasn't this before they were masaking starting brachos? So
Nope. How? Because what's the Gemara's svara for? Well, it's before they were masaking it, but what's the Gemara's svara for making a bracha rishona? Well, what's the source? Did I just give it away? The source is it says svarahu. It's just a svara that you make bracha rishona. You know, they formalized it after in Ezra and his Beis. But yeah, but where's what now? Obviously, we don't have man anymore, but there is one piece of man left, right? Where is it?
in the Aron, it's lost.
Yeah.
From one.
Yeah, it's the Tzinsenes Haman, the jar of man is there. So like if you get it first,
How much is it? Like how much?
Could you eat it?
Isn't it one portion? Isn't it an omer? I think it's an omer of man. Yeah. So it's like one day. It's 1 day's portion or one meal portion. Yeah.
I guess you probably have to live through touching me on first.
Or pull some sort of like a droid, like like bomb defusing thing, Yeah.
It's not like Indiana Jones that you can open it up and one die.
Like Indiana Jones. Yeah.
No, it's not like Indiana Jones. Yeah. I don't think so. Yeah. And then if it is like that, then just like have someone else open it and then you go get it later, Okay, so what do we get? Oh, the avim. Nir shakvana l'tofa'a mi. Oh yeah, it is l'tofa'a meteorologit. So it is a okay, hold on. I have to
meteorological
tofa'a. So okay, if Google translates this as phenomenon, then I'm gonna freak out and tell you a story. Okay, hold on a second. Google Translate. Google Translate. Okay. So tofa'a.
I like that it's already
Phenomena. Okay, yeah. So here's the story. Okay, which I'll turn it off. It's not a bad story, but like, and it's probably stop share. Oh, I thought I stopped recording. Hold on. It's not. Why are things not clicking today? It looks like there's a little. You see that little faint box there?
Oh, yeah.
Where is that registering from?
Oh yeah.
That's so strange.
Your folder?
It could be. Yeah, let me move it like that, and then.
Anything in the box.
Yeah, I'm trying to move this out of the way. This is way too much effort. Oh, I can pause the recording like. Yeah. Right, for anyone who was listening to the recording, I just told the meteorological phenomenon story. So that's that. Anytime anyone says any of those two words, I can't not hear
That's funny.
everything. Yeah. Okay. All right. So here we go. Anyway, I gotta play. Remind me. I'll play for you. I gotta send you a YouTube video to hear the actual accent later on. Okay. So so it's if bread falls from the heavens. Nira shekavana l'tofa meteorologit shenischafu ba girgiri chitim min hasade ekev sof sufa chazaka. So yeah, wheat is blown by a strong storm from a field and it falls from heaven. Oh, so the question is, so why does this pose a problem? I guess. You don't know when it was harvested. You don't know when the storm picked it up, I guess, right? Hold on, I gotta sneeze. I don't know.
If that happens.
So therefore you can't bring it, and if you brought it, it's kosher. Okay, fine. It is a weird case. Yeah, I don't know how common this was. Yeah.
I think they sifted the grain often by throwing it in the wind.
Oh, that might be also, yeah. But are you really sifted that much? I mean, first of all, the grain is the part that falls, right? The chaff is the part that blows away.
Sure. I guess the point being is that there's a reason why you might get some in the wind.
Maybe. All right. The kids at Hayu Osin, what would they do? Mevi'in shalosh se'in chitin chadashos. They would bring 3 sa'as, that's a measure of, which is 21.6 liter. They bring 3 sa'as of new wheat. V'shafin also ubotin bahen k'der kol menachos, and they would. I forget what all these verbs mean. V'shafin ubotin lebir iyur.
Bior is to like separate it, right?
Well, I think it's saying for explanation and for depiction, then see above 5-6, which I don't have in this volume here. Yeah. V'shafin osan ubotin. So I think they would like beat out the wheat from the chaff and then like thresh it. And then they grind it into flour. They would sift it through 12 sieves, so really, really fine flour. And then the rest of it could be redeemed. It could be eaten by anybody, meaning there's no kedusha. And it's chayav and challah and pater from meiser. Okay, fine. Now we get to the actual korban. So the 2 loaves. Shehin minacharash, which by the way, I know anyone going to Pesach's on Saturday night, on first night, Yom Tov? No? Okay. So if you go there, then he'll say this, because someone will ask him and he'll say this answer. Okay. That, so there's different reasons given for dairy, for eating dairy on Shavuos night. So the explanation in yeshiva, and I don't know if this is a Brisker thing, is that it's a reminder of the shtei halachim, because the halacha, it feels very Brisker, by the way, because the halacha is if you have bread out when you're having dairy, then in addition to like rinsing out your mouth and washing your hands and stuff, you need to get new bread, another loaf of bread, because of the chances that the dairy was used with the actual bread, like a dairy spread or something like that. So our explanation of the minhag is that's why we eat dairy, so that we can have a halachically mandated second loaf to bring. What was that? Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the big nafmi, is that you don't just eat dairy, you eat dairy and then you eat meat. But to me, this it reeks of like post hoc minhag explanation, But I don't know if anyone knows the actual reason why people eat dairy.
Also, you say that was the reason. That just means that in the past the minhag was out, because obviously today that's not the minhag.
Yes, it's definitely not the widespread minhag, but it is what we hold the minhag is here.
What's it supposed to mean?
I argue against your point that it's not a minute anymore. I really want a minute to begin with, and people asking about it, that was tough.
Right. Yeah, right.
I mean, it was already originally minhag, so what? If people start doing it,
all right. Let's not discuss minhag now. Yeah, we can discuss minhag later. Yeah. The minhag, most people just eat dairy on random Shavuos. For us, what we do is we eat, we wash, make a motzi on bread, eat dairy, then clean up all this table, rinse out all the mouth, and then bring a second loaf for the meat part of the meal, and we eat meat.
But you don't do an afbracha before first.
No, right. Yeah, you don't bench it in between. Yeah. Right. So that's the way that they do it here. So yeah. Okay. Anyway.
I like that.
Yeah. And really, I like it too, because it's really the only, other than the Kriyas Torah. You do get to have meat. Yeah. That is good. But the other thing is, what I was going to say is, because I love Torah, but it's the other than Kriyas Torah, that this is really our only real connection to like in being involved in anything having to do with the shtei lechem.
Yeah.
Like I know I've been at a lot of meals where like there are kids who have never heard of the shtei lechem until someone explains to them, someone asks the question, why are we eating dairy? And they say, oh, because of the shtei lechem, and then people explain it, so like it's a good.
So the shtei lechem is meant to be, where you're saying this minhag allows this shtei lechem, meaning to incorporate the second loaf or whatever into the actual seder. I guess.
I'm saying it the other way around. I'm saying like this minhag, or maybe this is what you meant. Yeah, this minhag allows us to incorporate the korban of the shtei lechem, which we don't no longer do or talk about,
right.
into the meal.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we actually have a second.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even though the two practices have nothing to do with each other. Yeah.
Right. I see. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So the lechem hapanim. Okay. The showbreads shuhu ba min hayashan, which come from the yashan. Dailo ba'acha asas reinafa. It's enough to sift them 11 times. Okay. I didn't know there was such a big difference between 11 and 12. V'huba, I guess I've never sifted flour like that. V'huba isaron mikol sa'ah, and that is provided that there's an isaron that comes from every sa'ah. Okay, I don't know the measurements. V'al ha'omer shuba min hasorim chadashos, the omer which comes from new barley, ino ba min hamuvchar ela mishalosh se'in u'bishlosh reinafa. Comes from the best, and it's from 13 siftings. The kulan im riba b'midos hasin shebahen mehen omiet ksheros. All of them, if you increase or decrease the measure then a little bit, then it's a kasher. Okay, so what do you do? Lokachin shnei esronos v'lashinosan achas achas. So you take the two esronim, which are the esronos, which are the measure. Again, I don't know the measures. You knead them into dough, one at a time. V'ofinosan achas achas, and you bake them individually.
2 tenths.
Was it?
What is?
Yeah, isaron is a tenth.
2 tenths or something.
Yeah. I don't. I'm not.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Yeah. Did he say earlier what an isaron is? Isronos? No, he didn't. Okay, fine. What do you do? So you bake them one at a time. Oh, I'm going in the box. V'lishasan ba'arichasan b'chutz. The kneading and the arrangement of them is outside. I don't know if that means outside of Mikdash. Well, it was a b'chutz. What halacha is this? Vav? It doesn't say vav.
This happens once.
Outside of the azara, not outside of Mikdash. Yeah.
This kind of stuff is really hard to follow, and it's like procedural.
I know. That's why I'm kind of rushing through it because I'm not really getting much out of this.
It's all happening once, right?
Only once. Yeah. V'fiyasan b'fnim k'chol menachos, and then you bake it inside the azara like other menachos. V'enas yasan docha yom tov. The baking does not push aside yom tov. Oh, that's interesting. What? Oh, the baking. Yeah, because you can bake it before. Although, isn't it better on yom tov? You would think that you'd bake it on yom tov because you're allowed to cook for yourself, and you're not allowed to do ochel nefesh for mikdash purposes. Is that true? Does that make sense?
How did that make any sense? Because you can cook the korban pesach.
No, you can definitely bring korbanos, right? But I'm saying, but here's the thing: you don't. Okay, this is the weird thing. You don't actually. Okay, I have no idea. All right, let's see here. Hold on. Yeah, let's see if he explains it. We don't bake them. So the making of it doesn't push aside Yom Tov. In Sarach Lomer Shabbos, certainly not Shabbos. Ofinosan me erev Yom Tov. You make it on erev Yom Tov. Shnemar kulavado ye'aseh lechem. That alone should be done for you. Okay, let's see if this footnote explains. Beheter la'avos l'vash Yom Tov l'tzorach Yom Tov v'yom rishon shel Chag Pesach mikra kodesh. Okay, he doesn't. Heter rak l'tzorach prati v'lo l'mikdash. That's what I thought. Okay, so the heter is you can only make it for yourself, not for Mikdash. Okay, so that's really interesting. He says it. Shnemar, hu levado yaseh lachem v'lo legavoa, for you and not for God. And this is also the same drasha as for you and not for goyim, for you and not for animals. Meaning you can only cook stuff for your own Yom Tov needs. You can't cook it for divine Yom Tov needs. You can't cook it for goyim. You can't cook it for animals.
Why can't you do it for divine?
I don't know. That is the drasha though. We can look in the Torah Tamima. Yeah. There's a heter for Shavuos you're allowed to do. So rabbinic things you're allowed to do, and then you're allowed to do stuff that has a korban whose zman is kavua. But apparently, apparently the baking of the bread is not part of the actual hakrava. So whereas let's say like the shechita of the korban is, So that's why apparently not. By the way, you know how people get really offended when they're ignorant? Sorry, so like I had something specific in mind. Yeah. So like, when you like, for example, when you if I were to say that on Yom Tov, we don't cook for non-Jews and we don't cook for animals, they'll go, oh, you're saying that non-Jews are like animals? And they'll go like this with their hands, right? So, yeah, right. So if you say, though, you're not allowed, it's the same drasha, you're not allowed to cook for non-Jews, for animals, and for God, like, so we're clearly, yeah, yeah, right. So you see, yeah. So in other words, it's just like these people are so quick to jump on these, like, again, same thing about like, yeah, yeah, right, yeah. I somehow think that's not as maybe in ancient Egypt they would think that, yeah.
So this means, in theory, you have, let's say there's a 2-day, like a Shabbos and Shavuos.
Yeah.
You'd have to make it Friday.
Probably Erev Shabbos, right? Yeah, he says that's the next case. Let's see. Haya Erev Yom Tov Shabbos. If Erev Yom Tov was Shabbos, like this year, Ofi Nosan Erev Shabbos, then you make it on Erev Shabbos. V'nechalos b'shlishi la'af yasan shu Yom Tov, and it's eaten on the third day after it's baking, which is Yom Tov. Okay, which we haven't gotten to the eating.
Eat it?
Let's find out. Let's read and find out. Okay, here's a chart for stuff that people are interested in, but I am not. So let's go on. Okay, so this is, it's explicit in the Torah that this is chametz. Okay, and this is the only mincha, the only thing in Mikdash that's chametz. Okay, ever. The ketzad oseh. How do you do it? Wait, not ever. This is the only mincha that's chametz. Yeah, ketzad oseh, because the lechem apanim is chametz. Yeah. All right, ketzad oseh, how do you do it? Maybe seor mimalkum acher, you bring leavening from another place. Venosino letocha isaron, you put it into the isaron of flour. Umamale ha isaron solos, and you mix it into the fine flour. Umachamso bosanasor, and then you leaven it in that with that leavening. Okay. Umaruba osein orech kol chala shiva tvachim. They're square. Each challah, I don't have the picture unless, let's see, where would we find a picture of this? Don't we have a Mikdash book somewhere? Yeah. Oh, Art Scroll, the new Art Scroll Chumash has it, yeah. Yes.
Something, probably something.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see if we get, I'm sure it'll show the showbreads. Yeah, I know, right? So the newer editions of the Art Scroll have this whole nice little color section at the end. Oh, there we go. Okay, loaves of Nazir, loaves of Thanksgiving. We're in the loaf section. No. Oh, nope. Okay. Either it's not here, I'm not finding it. All right, fine. I'll see if I can get a picture at some other point. There is a fancy, oh, there's the showbreads. Is it the same as the showbreads? I don't think so, right? You've seen the showbreads before, right? If you've never seen it, then it's the weirdest thing.
It's like this.
This is the shape.
Yeah.
Because it has to be stacked like that on the stabs.
That's the bread?
Yeah. Isn't that wacky?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the bread is in a fetal position. What was it? Yeah.
ASU knows pictures are perfectly accurate. Which
I've only seen pictures that look like that. I mean,
I think that like not
right. I mean, I feel like Art Scroll in a section about halachos of Mikdash would try to be accurate.
What I mean is, I could easily see some contours just being a bit off. That could be like a bit less cornery. Does that make sense? Like, it's still
maybe shape. I'm sure it's as accurate as any of us could do. Okay, Murubasin, they are square. Orech kol chala shiva tvachim. The length of each chala is 7 tvachim. V'rachba arba tvachim, and the width is 4 tvachim. V'gava arba etzbaos, and the height is 4 fingers. Okay, all right. So, all right, are we ready yet? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, ketzad hanafas alechem. Okay, now we get to what you actually do with the korban. Okay, so how do you wave the lechem im shnei kivsei hashlamim with the 2 kavasim, with the 2 lambs? maybe shnei kavasim. Okay, so you bring. Okay, this is the you got to picture this. Okay, because this is fun. Okay, you take the two lambs while they're alive. Oh, sorry. You wave them while they're alive.
You wave them.
Yeah. So like
You take the
lulav.
lambs and you go like that.
Like lulav. However you do lulav.
Yeah.
Maybe molich. Maybe male amorid.
With the lamb.
With the lambs. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. They probably have a fun time. Shnemar of Heini Fosam Tenufa, V'im Heini Fizeh Bifnei Atmo, V'zeh Bifnei Atmo Yatza. And if you wave them one at a time, then you're supposed to do them both at the same time. Yeah. But doesn't he say that you put the bread on them? Or did I miss this? Okay. And then you shech them. Okay, they don't have a fun time with that. Umafshit, and you skin them. And you take the what do you call? I know chaze means chest, but what do you call that part of the animal?
Oh.
Is that a flank? The chaze and the shok and the thigh. Mikol echad mishneim, from both of them. Umenichim mitzad shtei lechem. You put them next to the shtei lechem. Umeniach shtei yadav milamatam. You put your two hands below. Umenich hakol ke'echad b'mizrach b'mkom kol nivos. And then you wave all of them in the east, where you do all the other nivos. Molich umevi malei morid. You do forward, back, up and down, or if you hold by yeshiva's chumras, then you do a lot more than that, right? Because you do the our yeshiva's chumrah dance probably the same way. You've seen this?
No.
I mean, back in my day, everybody did this. I actually did Hataras and Darim because it was too much for me to do.
I might add on that.
Oh yeah. So we do the Ninuim to fulfill all the shitos.
For what?
For lulav. So I believe the way it goes like this. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, in, out, 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 in, out. And then I've heard some people do another 1 and then down or something like that, but that's so I asked that also. I said like what's the deal with like trying to do all the shitos, So what the answer I got when I asked, and maybe this answer changed, is that in general, like, if you can do an extra chumrah that's not like more difficult, let's say like putting on Rebbeim Tam tefillin, that's like, okay, that's like you have to pay thousands of dollars to get additional tefillin, or whatever, whatever, and you have to like, put them on afterwards. That's like a tircha. I mean, it's a tircha, but doing this is not a tircha. It's a tircha. So yeah.
I just also think too, feel like what I'm not saying particularly bad, but the general halachos perek is let's throw on a couple more chumras, but you'll all the shitas.
Yeah. Well, there is a reason to do it, by the way. So this I also heard from Rebbe, which is that like, why would like Reb Chaim do like these chumras? Because if you have a certain if you have an understanding of the svaras and a certain love of the halachic system, then you'll be moved to like enact the halacha, like to further the connection between your understanding and the actual thing, which I totally understand. Like experientially, if you've ever done that, then that's like why do you make tzitzis? Like
I feel the opposite way.
Yeah.
I feel like if I've gone through it and I do understand it, then it's like to try to fulfill all of them would be almost like dishonest towards anyone.
Well, no. So if you dafke held it that one of them is right and the other ones are in your opinion not, so then that's a different story.
But even if they're mutually exclusive,
yeah,
then it feels weird to do more than one.
Right. So that's the beauty of this of this chumrah, is that there you can wait in a way where it's not mutually exclusive.
Even if they're like conceptually mutually exclusive. I mean, not
right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I hear. Yeah. Again, there's different minhagim about minhagim. Yeah. But anyway, so we'll see if the Kohen who does this is from yeshiva, then we'll find out what he does in the Mikdash. Okay. So what do you do? Yeah, it is, right. That's I was wondering the same thing. Yeah. I think is that in the Psukim? Let's see. No, not that answers it. That would just push the question more. Hold on a second. Tinufa. Taviu lechem tinva shtayim shnei esrim he cropped him Allah shivas kvasim tamimim b'nei shana. Upar ben bakar echad be'elim shnayim. Okay, fine. Hiniva kohen osam al lechma bikurim tinfal b'nei Hashem al shnei kvasim. So that's only referring to the one after they're dead, right? Because it says vasisim irizim chad. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Okay, so then what happens? Oh, did I finish reading this? Of im hinifan echad yata. If you wave them one at a time, then you're yata. Okay. Then you burn the portions of the two lambs. Ushar habasar nechal kohanim, and the rest of the meat is eaten by the kohanim. Same thing with the two chalos. Notel kohen gadol achas mishtain. The kohen gadol takes one of them. Hashnia mischalekas l'chol hamishmaros, and the second one's divided among all the watches of kohanim. Ushtain nechalos koloso hayom v'chati alayla kibasar kache kachim. And it's eaten for the rest of the day and half the night, like the other kachim. Yeah. So this is another thing that, in my ignorance about shtei lechem, then I did not learn until this year, which is that I always thought that it's actually like brought on the mizbeach, that the shtei lechem is brought on the mizbeach, but it's not. It's eaten by the kohanim. So yeah.
How many people are they splitting it between?
I don't know, because when he says it's split among all the mishmaros, let's just see if our friend Rav Makbili explains the mishmaros. Yeah. That's what I would assume. Then why? What's the plural? What's with the plural? Mishmaros.
Were their social regalim, they're all called up?
Oh, were they? Okay, that would answer it then. I knew that they were all called up for Pesach. I didn't know it was for all.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah. He doesn't say who the mishmaros are. Oh wait, mishmaros. There you go. Exactly what you said. All the mishmaros are there at the time of the regalim. Yeah. Okay.
So who are these people?
So the kohanim have to serve the Mikdash, right? Yeah. But they were divided into. Is there another word for watches? They call them watches, mishmaros, right? Like rotations. Shifts. Yeah, shifts. Yeah.
Possibly clans, possibly. Whatever.
Okay. Clan to me has like a familial connotation. Wait, was there a familial?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Okay, yeah.
I thought, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Can you stop drumming?
Yeah.
Thanks. So what would happen is each Kohen would have their shift in the year where you get called up, and then you do all the Kohanim duties. But then on the regalim, apparently, then they would all be called up. Yeah, I knew they needed that for Pesach because processing all the Korban Pesachs is a really, really difficult thing. Yeah, so Alila Regal also, there are also a lot of Korbanos. In fact, just as many, well, actually not just as many, there's more than Korban Pesach because on Alila Regal, well, depends. Well, because the Korban Pesach, you're splitting among many people, right? You have to be. But a lot of people are putter from Alila Regal. Like if you actually look at the list of people who are putter, it's going to be it's a much smaller percentage than you realize. That was actually what I wanted to.
It's much smaller percentage of people do.
But with Korban Pesach, though, then you have everyone in the family, in all the families needs to eat. Yeah, and the Baturim for the Korban Pesach are not the same as the one. Like if you're blind, if you're limping, if you're blind, if you're deaf, you're putter from Alila Regal, But Korban Pesach, I don't think so.
So wait, who's eating the bread then, to be clear?
The Kohanim. The Kohen Gadol gets one all to himself,
Going?
and then all the Kohanim split the rest. So I guess they're just eating like
a crop.
I don't know if they all have to eat it, but it's divvied up. Yeah.
Also, I do wonder if maybe Pesach is all seen as more importantly not. Well, it's just in a cultural sense, such that you'd have people who might just dish for certain regal.
Yeah. I have no idea how observed it was. Yeah, Chaim? Yeah, sounds like it, right? Ushtain, that's the snake. No, oh yeah, the shtei halachos. Well, with the crossing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if nosar does nosar. I mean, I think it's usher to leave it. But yeah, I honestly don't know. I'm not familiar with the halachos of nosar. Yeah. Well, let's see if so the meat would become nosar if it's left over, but the bread, I guess, would not. Yeah. No, again, I'm not familiar with nosar so much, but that's what Makbili saw fit to print. It's all makbili saw fit to print. Shachat shnei kavasim al arba chalos. If you shechted 2 kavasim on 4 chalos, I don't know why you would do that. Im amar yiktishu shtayim mitoch arba, and you said, let 2 of the loaves out of the 4 be sanctified. Moshech shtayim mehen umenifan. Then you can withdraw 2 of them and wave them. Vashar podin osano bifnim, and the rest of it you could redeem inside, which bifnim means podin osano bifnim. Motim eshte hachalos lechulin aide tashlum lahekdesh tumuros. Some beodo ba'azara, so you can redeem them in the azara. About lo yotzi osan michutz la'azara lifnei shepat osan. You can't bring them outside of the azara before you redeem them. Today shelo yipaslu v'lo yuchol liftos on od. So then they would become puzzle, and you can't redeem them more. Okay, I'm not familiar with all this stuff. Let's see if there's any other things here. Okay, v'achar. Wait, where are we? Yeah, v'hashar podin. Okay, imlo hisna lo kadosh halachem. And if you didn't make a stipulation, then the lechem does not become kodesh. So in other words, you need either stipulation or you need a designation. Yeah. Okay, let's go on. Shachat arba kavasim al shtel. Okay, is there anything else? That is shachat. How much longer is this? We can get anything else out of this. Let's read and see if we get anything else. Shachar haba kavasim al shtei chalos moshech shnayim mehen v'zorok dam shelo lishman u'minif shnayim hanish'arim maksherim im shtei lachem. Okay, if you shechted 4 kavasim on 2 breads, you can withdraw 2 of the kavasim and sprinkle their blood, not lishman, and then wave 2 of them that are remaining that are kosher with lechem, shtei lechem. Okay, I don't know enough kachim to know what the chidushim are here. Shtei chalos ma'akos ozo. So the shtei chalos are ma'akev each other, meaning you need both of them. Ushnei kavasim ma'akvin zezeh, and the kavasim need each other. Meis achad mishnein, if one of them dies or barach or runs away, or nase trefa or becomes trefa, yikach zug lasheni. You could take a pair, a partner for the second one. Shachat echad lishmo yikach lo zug. If he shechted one of them for that purpose, then he could take a pair for it. Okay, fine. But the 2 breads are ma'akiv the kvasim, but the 2, so this is an interesting philosophical point, or a basis for a philosophical point. So the bread is ma'akiv the kvasim, so what this means is that if you had the bread and let's say your kvasim were not good, you would still be yote shtei lechem. But if you had the kavasim without the bread, then the kavasim are no good. So it shows you the shtei lechem is really the main thing, and the kavasim are accompanying them. Okay, it's an accompaniment. Yeah. If you started the process, presumably at any point in the process. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure at what point the interference. Well, the way that Makbili puts it is he says, if you have no bread, lo yakriv es hakavasim, then you don't bring the kavasim. And then if there are no lambs, makriv es halachem below kavasim. So he's describing it in lechatchila terms. Like, do you still go forward with the process if you are lacking one of the ingredients? Yeah, what were you saying?
Or it flees is what
if the lamb flees, not if the bread flees.
What was the word for that?
Barach.
How would that even happen? Like it just while you're in the middle.
Yeah, let's say you're grabbing the 7 lambs and you're hurting them, and one of them like runs off.
Is this like where the whole idea of the zivug comes from? Like,
well, the word means zivug means partnership. So
right.
So it doesn't come from this institution. That's just the word that's used in all places for pairs. Yeah. Okay. So then if he waved them with a kavasim, then they are ma'akiv each other. So once you wave them, they become bound. And if the bread was lost, that'd be so embarrassing. Yovdu hakavasim, then maybe destroyed, right? I mean lost also, but he says yovdu hakavasim, then you should destroy the sheep. Means that I guess because you already initiated the process and made them hekdesh, but you can't bring them without it. So you have to like kill them.
Oh, you should kill
I think so.
Like,
Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what the yeah, maybe. Does Makbili say? No, he doesn't say. Yeah. Where are we here? If the sheep are destroyed or lost, yovad halechem, then destroy the bread. Lechem acher ukvasim acher, and then bring other bread and other sheep. Yeah. Okay. I actually am going to stop a little bit early now because I have a phone call at 2:30. Yeah. All right. So let's stop here. All right. So that was there's day lechem. Okay. So I can't click in this spot. So what do I do? Stop share and then end.